We have a major New York Mets free agency update to go over today, as the Mets have been named favorites for a star free agent coming over to the MLB with a whole lot of superstar potential, and this does very much have an impact on Pete Alonso's future with the Mets as well, and we are going to go over all that, guys. We're going to waste no time jumping right into the news here, but real quick, if you're part of that 74% that's not subscribed to Mets Digest, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single New York Mets update. We have a lot of great videos coming out every single day on the Mets, and anytime the Mets make a move, whether that's signing someone, losing a key player of this team to free agency, or a player they are targeting signing somewhere else, we are going to have news out on that within 30 minutes. So make sure you're subscribed and have those post notifications turned on. But let's jump right into the video, guys. There is a lot to talk about on the Mets right now, because David Stearns has a very interesting free agency ahead of him. With the free agency of Pete Alonso being a serious situation, and the Mets also knowing they have to add more pitching to this roster while targeting guys like Kyle Tucker and Cody Bellinger as well, there's a whole lot of change that we could be seeing to the New York Mets over the next couple of weeks. And I expect there to be a lot of change for the New York Mets over the next couple of weeks. And that's not specifically regarding one person, but I do think the Mets are going to try very, very hard to trade for Tarek Skubal, and also maybe try to trade for Freddie Peralta. And then while that's also happening, look at guys on the open market as well, like the Shane Biebers and Framber Valdez's of the world. So there's a lot to talk about with the New York Mets right now, but one of the biggest storylines has been right here with Munetaka Murakami. Murakami is recently, or he has recently been posted, which means now over the next 40 some odd days, because it's no longer 45, it was posted 2 days ago, so 43 days until December 23rd, he has to sign a contract in the MLB. So we are going to see Murakami's free agency heat up fast, and there's been a lot of noise surrounding him and the New York Mets. As the New York Post said, Murakami is set to be posted on Friday, opening the 45-day window for MLB teams to negotiate with the star Japanese third baseman. The Post's Joel Sherman confirmed this. Now, the 25-year-old is expected to have a heavy market this winter, with the Mets likely among those interested in the slugger, who had 246 home runs over 8 seasons in the Nippon Professional Baseball League, including a record 56 in 2022. So Murakami, one of the best players in Japanese baseball, shows that he has a ton of potential and will be getting a big, big contract in the MLB going into this season. Now, the man has been absolutely excellent, has a career batting average of 270. That was a little bit up last season with a 273, also having an OPS over 1. So obviously, Murakami is a very, very, very talented player who's hit a ton of home runs, gives a lot of power, like most power hitters, strikes out a lot, which is the one real concern about his game. However, at the same time, we understand that Munetaka Murakami is an incredible talent, and there's going to be a lot of suitors, namely the Dodgers, out there looking for Murakami services, and it really is interesting to see how this whole thing is going to go along, because it does impact the free agency of Pete Alonso. If the Mets ultimately opt to sign Murakami, he is a first baseman, so you start to wonder what exactly happens with Alonso, who put up similar numbers to Murakami as well. And it is a debate on who's the better power hitter. But we do know the Mets have went over to see Murakami before, which does make this interesting. Now, Alonso, with a 272 batting average last year and an 871 OPS, wants a long-term contract. The question is really more about if he's going to get that long-term contract or if he's going to have to keep searching for it as time goes on. That's really what we're going to have to look for. And if Alonso does sign a long-term deal, it's not necessarily going to be with the Mets. It's whoever offers it to him. And right now, the Mets do have the third best odds for Murakami, just trailing right behind the San Diego Padres and Boston Red Sox, with the Mets at plus 600, and then the Dodgers at plus 650, along with the Yankees and Mariners to round that thing out. Now, here's the thing. When it comes down to it, I do think Murakami will likely find his way to the Los Angeles Dodgers, because that's where every Japanese superstar finds himself to nowadays. Murakami has already said that he would prefer to play on the West Coast, but he wouldn't mind going east, specifically to the Yankees, which is not the best news for the Mets. However, Murakami can play third base. There's a world where he can play third base. He does play the corner sometimes, that hot corner sometimes. But at the same time, is he going to be able to do it at the MLB level with any sort of efficiency? The Mets do have to sort of navigate that situation, because we know the Dodgers are going to be doing the same thing. Look, the Dodgers have Freddie Freeman, and Freddie Freeman is not going anywhere. So when we look at everything, it's important to note, and the Mets have been named by Tim Kelly as the best fit for Murakami. As Kelly of Bleacher Report did say, that back in August, Mets president of baseball operations David Stearns made the trek to Japan to personally scout Murakami. That alone doesn't mean the Mets are definitely going to sign Murakami, but it's a pretty good indication that New York will be in on him this offseason. Pete Alonso once again is a free agent after hitting 38 home runs this past season. It seemed like last winter Alonso was more interested in the Mets than they were in him. With his 2025 production, he'll surely get 4 guaranteed years this offseason, if not more. If the Mets don't feel comfortable giving him that deal to a player who will turn 31 in December, Murakami would be a pretty nice pivot. Even if the Mets do bring back Alonso, you can't discount the possibility of Steve Cohen also opening up the checkbook after missing the postseason altogether in 2025. Murakami could coexist with Alonso, pushing Mark Vientos back at third base and getting DH at-bats. Adding Murakami might also make it easier to have Alonso DH on a more consistent basis. Now, on top of this, not too long ago, Murakami was also named as the perfect replacement for Alonso if he is to leave by Anthony DiComo, who did say 25-year-old Munetaka Murakami, who produced a 1.051 OPS this year in Japan. The Mets president of baseball operations, David Stearns, flew to Japan in August in part to scout Murakami, who hit a walk-off home run while he was present. Murakami will be posted this winter and represents one of the most realistic potential Pete Alonso replacements out there. It's not necessarily that he's going to be replacing Pete Alonso. Again, the Mets, they could stick Murakami at first base, keep Vientos at third, and have Pete DH sometimes, or have Murakami DH, or have Murakami sometimes play third. They can move around, they can mess around with Vientos, Murakami, and Alonso and see what works, what doesn't work, who should play where. Obviously, we know that it'd be one of Vientos or Murakami at third base because Pete can't play there. And then it's a matter of, is Pete going to DH? Is he just moving full-time to a DH role? Or is he going to stick at first base? I mean, he gives a lot of effort out there. Obviously, he's loved by his teammates and everything, but he's not a great fielder. He's a hard worker, but he's not a great fielder. Is Murakami going to be a world better than him at defense at first base? Maybe. It's not guaranteed. Maybe he is, but it's also possible he's not. Maybe he's not. He probably is. If he can play third base, he's going to be a better fielder than Alonso, but it does make you sort of consider what the future is and how much do you want to pay Pete Alonso to be your DH for the next 4 to 5 years? Like, is that something you want to do? Pay Pete Alonso until he's 35, 36 years old while already stepping in DH at 31. Well, we know it's not. Juan Soto's on borrowed time in that outfield, man. He's not going to be in the outfield for that much longer. I mean, he's not imminently becoming the DH next season, but you signed the correct number of guys. You signed Cody Bellinger. You maybe bring in Kyle Tucker. You bring one of those guys in. You figure out you got prospects down there who could play the outfield. I don't see Lindor leaving shortstop anytime soon. So is Jet Williams going to go to center or is he going to go to second base? That's probably second base, but it's a question. There's guys out there. It's not like that Soto's got a whole lot of time out in right field left. With that in mind, it does make some sense to maybe be very careful with what you're going to do with that DH spot and with Pete Alonso and Murakami. Do the Mets sign both? I don't think so. Do they sign one? I'm 95% sure. Guys, what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day. I'll catch you later.